Eric Harley here from the Midnight Trucking Radio Network, and joining me right now from FPPF, it's Peter Guerra. Peter, how are you?
Oh, fine.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Great to see you. There's a lot of issues out there that drivers are dealing with day to day. Well, first, we'll start with ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel, 15 parts per million sulfur content that's been on the market since 2006. Right. Creating some issues here. I guess the first issue is something that we're not going to see until maybe it's too late, lubricity.
Yes.
There's a lack of lubricity with this ultra-low sulfur fuel. What do drivers need to know?
Well, what they did is they obviously took the sulfur out of the fuel, and when you take the sulfur out, you're taking out the lubricating quality,
right.
Natural quality. It isn't the sulfur itself that is the lubricating agent. It's the compounds that sulfur is a part of.
Right.
And when you remove these compounds, then you don't have that lubricity. The diesel engine, the way it functions, it needs the fuel to actually lubricate at the same time that it's being burned.
Yeah.
And without that lubrication, you get wear and tear on the entire injector system.
Yeah.
And that could lead to obviously poor mileage, but to major maintenance problems.
Yeah.
The EPA was made aware of these problems by the engine manufacturers, and they actually came to a compromise where they did require that the refiners put some lubricity back into the fuel, and they are doing that.
Right.
The thing is, they're not putting in as much as probably is required for the best performance of the engines.
Yeah. And this is something, again, that you're not going to see until it's too late. For those who
exactly
are
right.
operating that engine, that own that engine, unfortunately, it's too late by the time you know what damage has been done.
Right.
We just don't have a picture of the inside of that engine.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic when in the additive business, we make various products that do various things.
Right.
One of the category of products we make anti-gels.
Right.
And if that product does not work, it's immediate.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
your fuel just gels up.
That's right.
When you're making a lubricity product, it could be a year, 2, 3 down the road that you get the negative effect of
right.
a poor performing additive.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of gelling, we have to talk about biofuels here. All right. When it comes to biofuels, a B100 blend is going to bring you pure biodiesel. Is going to bring you a pour point that is, gosh, not far below freezing. That's when it starts gelling. But on a B5 blend, where can that gelling occur? And I mean, how cold does it have to be, generally speaking? And we say B5 because that's where some of the state mandates
right.
are right now. So that's what we see. On a B5 blend, what temperatures should drivers be concerned about, and what are we seeing out there on the road with gelling?
Yeah, for the wintertime, anyone who is using B100 is making a major mistake. B100, obviously it depends on whether it's soybean-based
right.
or if it's canola oil-based
right.
or tallow-based, but in aggregate, they're all going to gel at approximately 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And so that's a non-issue.
Wow.
B20 is the highest we would ever recommend anyone use of a bio-regular diesel blend in the wintertime. Now, in certain states, they're allowing B5, or requiring, I should say, B5.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, and I guess Wisconsin is very close to doing it. And that has really caused a lot of problems. What happens when the temperature gets extremely cold, what they're seeing is some separation, and the bio is actually breaking away a little bit from the remainder of the 95% diesel fuel, and then you're getting a thick buildup, and that will cause major problems. The B5 itself, when treated with good additives, you can actually get that cold filter plug point or the pour point down to where it's very manageable.
Right.
But it's that the fuel actually is starting to break down a little bit when it's in a very cold environment, and then you get the separation occurring. And if I would recommend, I would only go to really about 2%.
Yeah.
And that's what it used to be, and they didn't have any problems when they were at 2%. This year that they were at 5%, they did have some major problems.
We started seeing some issues. And,
yes.
and another issue is the whole microbial contamination.
Oh, that's another
All
thing.
right,
Yeah.
so what's going on here that drivers need to be aware of?
Well, for one thing, the biodiesel is very attractive for bacterial growth. It
Right.
actually goes rancid, just like butter would go rancid, because it's an ester form of a fatty acid.
Right. Okay.
And what it really is very attractive to bacteria. In fact, in the presence of some water, if it's untreated without a stabilizer, it will probably start building bacteria within a matter of 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And so you better be turning the fuel quickly, and it also should not be separating. And if you don't do that and you don't have a stabilizer or a water absorber in that fuel, you will start to get the buildup of some bacterial growth. Once
Yeah.
it's growing, it'll keep growing too.
Right.